Hi Farihah,
Hi Mani, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Where are you by the way?
Oh, I am going out. By the way, did you know that last week I found out that in 2010 Netflix actually hires actors to act as fans at their event in Canada?
Oh yeah, I guess I know about it and maybe I have read it somewhere before. What about it?
To me, it is very unethical of Netflix to do that.
Unethical, what's that?
Do you know ethic?
Mm,
So, ethic is basically standards of right social conduct. It is usually empowered by character.
well, I don't really get it. Would you mind elaborating more on it?
It's okay. I know this game named Ethics. Why don't we play it? I'll send you the link to join me online, okay?
Sure, that sounds great.
Okay, let's get started.
Let's.
So our group will be presenting on ethics. So before I start explaining about ethics, there are three things that you need to know about ethics, which are: first, ethics are standards of right social conduct, and it is usually empowered by character and not circumstances. Second, the practitioner's ethical choices are viewed by the public as equal to the organization's trustworthiness. And lastly, number three, one's ethical practice is affected by accepted standards of conduct, individual and business ethics, and trust with news media and relative laws. The word ethics is derived from the Greek word ethos, meaning character, and from the Latin word mores, meaning customs. Together, they combine to define how individuals choose to interact with one another. So, what is ethics? So, in philosophy, ethics defines what is good for the individual and for society, and ethics establishes the nature of duties that people owe themselves and one another. At its simplest, ethics is a value system of moral principle. They affect how people make decisions and lead their lives. Value system is used to determine right or wrong, fair or unfair, and just or unjust. Thus, ethical responsibilities embrace those activities, standards, policies, and practices that are expected or prohibited by society even though they are not codified into law. For example, we know that lying is not prohibited in law, but it is unethical to lie, especially when you are working as a PR practitioner, as the public always demand for honesty from every organization. Now, have you ever wondered why ethics is so important in PR? This is because the practice of PR is all about earning credibility. Credibility, in turn, begins with telling the truth. PR then must be based on doing the right thing, in other words, acting ethically. PR ethics stresses the value of honesty, loyalty, openness, integrity, respect, fairness, and accurate communication. The power of PR to shape opinions of the public is one of the most important reasons to consider their duties to the society and to take care not to abuse their power by dishonest use of manipulation, as PR also plays important role in maintaining the organization's reputation.
Hi guys, my name is AQILA and I'm from IABC Professional Organization, and today I'm here to do the auto wire interview but manually. So I'm going to answer all the web's most searched questions. Now I picked the first question from here, which is function of IABC. Function of IABC is to create a professional development guide for practitioner. Okay, now next. IABC is stand for what? Okay, IABC is stand for International Association Business Communication, and it is also founded in 1970. Headquarters of IABC is at San Francisco. Hi guys, I'm Nadia, and I'm going to continue on the second segment of this auto wire interview. I'm from National Organizations of IPRA. Okay. Administration's Office of IPRA. Not forget to mention that IPRA stands for International Public Relations Association. Administration Office of IPRA is located at United Kingdom. Brief history of IPRA. IPRA is formed in London in 1955. It had only 15 members in 5 countries, but now they had nearly 1,100 individuals in 100 countries. IPRA is formally recognized by the United Nations as well as UNESCO. In 1965, it adopted an international code of ethics called Code of Athens, which is based on the United Nations Declarations of Human Rights. Hi guys, I'm Jane. I'm going to continue on the third segment of auto wire interview. Stay tuned. Jane is from PRSA, Professional Organization. So let me continue to pick the question as usual. And the first question is, what is PRSA actually? PRSA stands for Public Relations Student Society of America. It is the largest public relations professional organization in the world, and PRSA headquarters located in New York City. PRSA has nearly 32,000 professional and student members. Okay, the next question is, what are they doing? The function of PRSA is to foster the exchange of ideas through its publication and promote a sense of professionalism. Second, provide opportunities to continue your study. And the third one is encourage ethical behavior and high standard of practices. Okay, this interview is going to end soon. So we're going to have our last question in here, which is, in what year does PRSA start working? PRSA was formed in 1947 right until now. So I think that's all from me. So bye bye.
I'm ALIA, and today we're gonna play a game of random questions regarding the topic of professional associations. Okay, so first question is, what does CPRS stand for? Okay, CPRS is short form for Canadian Public Relations Society. A bit of their background is they are headquartered in Toronto, Ontario. They are founded in 1948 and they have over 2,000 members in 16 local societies. Okay, so what do they do in CPRS is that first they publish a bi-monthly newsletter named Communique, and they also hold annual conference. And they parallel PRSSA in philosophy and programming. The local societies also recruit and mentor junior and student members. Okay, the next question is, what is UK's professional association and what do they do? Okay, so UK have their own professional association too, which is named CIPR. CIPR stands for Chartered Institute of Public Relations. It is London-based and also founded in 1948, and it has over 9,000 members, which makes them the largest PR professional association in Europe. So what do they do in CIPR is that first they establish and enforce codes of professional and ethical conduct. And they also encourage in development and academical preparation in PR. They are also publishing a newsletter named Profile for 6 times a year. Okay, fun fact. Outside of United States, there are over 100 national and regional associations of PR practitioners in more than 70 countries. That's a lot, right? But I guess every country needs PR. Okay, so moving on to the next question. Does Malaysia have any professional association? Of course we do. Malaysia, right? Okay, so our professional association is named IPRM. IPRM stands for Institute of Public Relations Malaysia. Simple. Okay. It is founded in 1962 by a group of PR practitioners from government, industry, and commerce sector. In 2005, they have launched the first group of accredited public relations practitioners. And now, IPRM represents the national body of PR practitioners in Malaysia with over 900 members. So what do they do in IPRM is that they are the only organization of its kind in Malaysia to devote solely and exclusively to the study and development of best PR practices. And they also play a role in training and development of PR practitioners in public and also in private sectors. So I guess that's all from me. Thank you.
Oh, hi! I'm Prof. Mini. And well, I'm a professional in public relations. You want to be like me? You must have specialized educational preparation in this field. Let me explain to you. Let's go. Degree programs in public relations have seen tremendous growth over the last half century, and the numbers of students majoring in public relations continues to grow each year. Let's look at the brief history of degree programs in public relations. It started in 1923 when Edward L. Bernays taught first university course. Then in 1946, 30 colleges offered 47 courses. In 1956, 90 colleges offered public relations courses, and in 1970, 303 institutions offered one or more courses. In 1981, 10,000 students enrolled at 300 institutions. Now there are respected public relations programs at most major universities in countries around the globe. Now you know about that. Moving on to the core content areas of study in public relations. The basic studies of PR is first, they must know the theory, origin, principles, and professional practice of public relations. Why? Because this is the nature and role of public relations, history and development of the field, theories and principles underlying the practice, while origin underlying the beginning of PR, history including important figures. While professional practice is an outward display of our attitude toward the profession and societal forces affecting the profession and its practice. Next, they also need to know about public relations, ethics, and law. It is codes of ethics and standards of practice in public relations and in other professions. This includes ethical issue, which is a situation where a moral conflict arises and must be addressed, and ethical trust, which is a collective desire to make the world a better place. To achieve organizational transparency, which is sharing and keeping employees in the loop because they care about the state and success of the organization. But how we differentiate between ethics and law? Essentially, laws enforce the behaviors we are expected to follow, while ethics suggested what we ought to follow and help us explore options to improve our decision making. Ethics values such as honesty, openness, loyalty, fair-mindedness, respect, integrity, and forthright communication, while law is legal and regulatory compliance issues such as privacy, defamation, copyright, workplace diversity, product liability, and financial disclosure. And that's
Now I will continue with 3 more areas which is important in public relations. So, first is research, measurement, and performance evaluation. So, what is research? Basically, when we do research, of course we want to know about something, right? So, research in public relations is basically we want to discover the situation, the opportunities or problems. Okay, it is regarding the facts and opinions gathering. So basically, research is a two-way communication between your organization and also public. You want to know what is the opinion of the public about your company. So basically, research is divided into 2, qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative means you do the interview, while for the quantitative, you do the survey or questionnaire to get a definite numbers of the response of your public. Okay. So next, measurement and performance evaluation. So measurement and performance evaluation, there are 2 terms, short terms and long terms. So basically, in short terms, you assess the success or failure of your company of the specific public relation program, and you from the program you measure the outcomes against the predetermined objective. And then for the long term, you assess the success and failure of your PR program in a more broad way. And then for the long term, you seek to improve the relationship that the organization maintain with your key constituents. For example, you have a company and your company has a good reputation. So you must want to retain the reputation, right? So how do you retain? So you need to do the measurement and evaluation, because if you don't do the measurement and evaluation, you won't know what is working and what's to improve with your program and whether your program is aligned with your goals and objectives. Okay, so we move on to the next area, which is planning and management. So planning and management is basically a model related to setting short and long term objectives. So planning is you identify whom you want to have the relationship, what do you want from that relationship, and what you can do to achieve it. And planning is divided into 2, strategic planning and tactical planning. Strategic planning is overall framework, focus and goal for long term, while tactical is the outgrowth of the strategic planning and it focus for the specific time period, such as annual plan, monthly plan. Okay, next for management, it's basically you analyze the is a way for you to maintain the relationship between your organization and also your public, which your success and failure of your company depends on it. Okay, so basically in management, you manage the crisis, you manage the task, you manage the communication. All the things is under management. In writing and production area, it is basically a communication theory, which is we produce the materials to influence our public behavior and also attitude. So in our writing material, it contains propaganda and also persuasion. And then it also contains controlled versus uncontrolled materials, which is control. We have the control over our materials because we decide what we want public to know. While for the uncontrolled materials, which is we during the press media release, we talk, but the editor who decide what they want to produce. That's all for me. Thank you. So what do you think, Mimi?
Your point is as good as me.
Well, we both are awesome.
So I will be presenting about the ethical foundations of professionalism. So there are three things that actually in ethical foundations of professionalism. First is professional ethics. Second, the imperative of trust, and the third one is the professional privilege. So I will be elaborating the three things that are actually important in the ethical foundation. So professional ethics is actually referred as an applied ethics. So it was suggested that actions that are consistent with moral norms in a society is referred as the professional ethics, and it is widely shared among the professionals. For example, an attorney convicted of perjury or witness tampering can be disbarred and no longer be allowed to practice law, which means that the lawyer actually tampered with the evidence or the witness. So they can be banned from practicing laws, which is a serious problem regarding the case that is discussed in the courts. So the second one is the imperative of trust. So as we know that trust is very important thing in any professional career. So in terms of public relation practitioner, the client must believe that the public relations practitioner is qualified and capable. So for example, doctors and nurses, they are responsible in aiding the patient in a hospital or clinic. So when we are sick, so we want to see the doctors because we know they can help us and we trust them to give us the best possible service in helping us to recover our health. So the third one is professional privilege. So professional privilege actually refers to the act in an ethical way and honoring the professional values, which is principles that govern the behavior of a person or a group in, for example, a business environment. And the professional ethics actually provide rules on how a person should act towards other people, especially their clients, which involving institution, government, or organization in such an environment. So unlike values, professional ethics are often codified as a set of rules which a particular group of people use. In this situation, it will be a public relation practitioner. So this means that all those in that particular group of the public relations will use the same professional ethics, even though their values may be unique to each person. So I will be using doctors for the example because in our society, doctors is regarded as a person we have high respects to because they help people to recover and giving a lot of advices in the health industry. So doctors taking Hippocratic oath, which is written in 400 BC, and it was to understand it, it was to say that the doctors obligates to work for the benefit, not harm of patients. So a line from the Hippocratic oath mentioned that I will fulfill according to my ability and judgment this oath and this covenant, which is a very serious vow oath made by the doctor. So it was very classical version of the Hippocratic Oath, because the modern version is actually very different, because it was translated to I will swear to fulfill to the best of my ability and judgment this covenant. So there is actually a burden in there that actually makes that the doctor's professional privilege is very high, in regards that they actually are serving the society in every way in terms of health.
Hi, it's me again. So now I will be explaining on social responsibility, or CSR. We already learned about CSR and what is CSR in the previous semester, right? So I believe all of us must know what is CSR. CSR, or social responsibility, is needed for every PR practitioners to fulfill the society's expectations and moral obligations. It means that PR practitioners helps client or the society solve their problem using the right conduct. Therefore, PR is judged by its impact on the society. PR's value to society is enhanced when first, it promotes free, ethical competition of ideas, information, and education to the marketplace of public opinion. Second, it reveals the sources and goals of the participation in the debate. And lastly, it enforces high standards of conduct. Meanwhile, public relations value to the society is diminished when first, it suppresses or otherwise limits competition of ideas. Second, it hides or ascribes to others the true sources of PR efforts. And lastly, it leaves unchallenged incompetent or unethical practice. So there are 5 major positives of socially responsible PR, but today I will only mention 3, and you can actually read the rest in the slides given. So the first one is PR improve professional practice by codifying and enforcing ethical conduct and standards of performance. Second, PR improve the conduct of organization by emphasizing the need for public approval, and PR serve the public interest by making all points of view articulate in the public forum. So there are so many good that can be credited to ethical PR practice, and opportunities for serving the public interest, such as providing scholarships in the universities, planning campaigns to reduce the poverty, improve nutrition, house the homeless, and many more. Meanwhile, there are 3 major negatives that can be attributed to the practice. Number 1, public relations gain advantages for and promote special interests, sometimes at the cost of the public well-being. Number 2, publicity clutters already choke channels of communication with the debris of pseudo-events and phony phrases that confuse or influence rather than clarify. And lastly, public relations sometimes corrodes our channels of communication with cynicism and credibility gaps. This negative effect will take place when the power of PR is used to confuse and conceal rather than to clarify the public issues.
So hi guys, okay, I will continue on codes of ethics and accountability in PR.
Guys, so I'm going to explain to you codes of ethics. So first of all, what is ethics? Ethics is basically our moral, behavior, and personality. So codes of ethics, what and why we apply these codes in company or organization. First of all, codes of ethics is a guide of principle designed to help professionals conduct business with honesty and with integrity, created by an organization or company to assist members. A code of ethics is important because it is clearly laid out the rules for behaviors that all employees and members supposed to follow. So why we apply this code? It is to ensure that employees behaving in a manner that is socially acceptable and respectful of one another. A code of ethics can be valuable not just internally as a professional guide, but also externally as a statement of a company's values and commitments. So in addition, codes of ethics may be different in every company and organization. It depends on the organization to create the codes based on their own specification and based on their own classification to members to follow. I will continue on the examples of codes of ethics. There are many examples of codes of ethics, but I will choose only 3. First of all, be professional. All parties must handle dealing with highest professional and ethical standards. For example, employees must protect the confidentiality of the clients. Next, trust and honesty. In a company, they may be specify the guidelines that require employees to abide by the law. For example, the employees must not expose the profit of the companies. Last but not least, caring and consideration policies. Employees must behave in a caring and considerate manner. Employers could also include these policies about how employees treat one another. For example, the value of teamwork is important to build trust in one another. After all, those codes can be a help in maintaining the company's success. Hi, so for the second part is accountability. So what is accountability? Actually, it is the best PR strategy where we can control the public if we are accountability enough in the profession. There are 2 parts in accountability, which are licensing and accreditation. So let's move on.
First aspect is licensing. So my first point is licensing. Licensing is basically a permission granted by the state or the government in order to engage in a specific occupation.
Hello mom, I have good news for you. Finally, I got my license as a PR. Who guessed right? Okay, thank you mom. Thank you for your support.
So as we watched the previous clip, Zulaikha has been given the full authority in that particular position. If she behaves unethically, she will lose the job and her license will be revoked. So it is important for us to get and have the license in order to gain the trust from the company and public. Second aspect is accreditation. Accreditation is a process of being certified as a credible and authentic entity. So being accredited means an organization has proven itself as a legitimate establishment in their field. So a person and accredited candidates went through a lot of process and credential to go to a higher position or higher level. So what are the goods of getting an accredited or being an accredited PR? So first of all, we can gain the title of accredited public relation in front of our names, and next we will earn higher salary than the not accredited public relations practitioners. And last but not least, we can gain a connection in the PR industry and we can improve our skills in this profession.
I will be presenting on 2 parts, which the ethical environment and also code of ethics. So the ethical environment is actually tips in guiding to develop our own ethical convictions and behavior. There are 8 of ethical environment. So first, never accept a client or a job with an organization or person with questionable character or conduct, which it means here we must always know what the past history about the person or the organization that we want to work with. Second, always be honest with everyone, especially the media. So I recall about what we have learned in the past semester, that we must always be transparent with media, because whatever statement that we give out to them, they can easily manipulate it once they know that we have lied to them. Third, don't handle competing clients. 4, don't make unfair comments about competitors, because by doing this, it can really make a bad or negative impression toward our organization. And the next one, the 5, keep the public interest in mind at all times. It means here that we must always remember that public are always being interested with our organization, so we must always supply them with information such as updates about what we are working on. 6. Respect confidences. 7. Make sure all your financial activities are above board. And 8. Use organizational codes as a starting place, but incorporate your own standards as well. Before I go on to Code of Athens, I would like to share a quote here, as you can see in the slides that we have provided you. Hans Martin says, said that ethics and expertise belong together. Only together they constitute professionalism and provide a morally acceptable foundation for professional fiduciary services. So Hans Martin Sass is actually a bioethicist who was born in 1933 and now is 85 years old. What is bioethicist, you're asking me? So bioethicist is a person that studies the ethical issues emerging from advances in biology and medicine. It is also moral discernment as it relates to molecular policy and practice. Today, Hans Martin Sass worked as a Professor Emeritus of Philosophy in Germany and also a Senior Research Emeritus at Kennedy Institute of Ethics at Georgetown University, Washington, D.C. Now we're moving on to Code of Athens. So what is Code of Athens? Code of Athens is International Code of Ethics for Public Relations. First, before I mention about all of the codes, you can see here the picture of Lucien Matret, which he died on 14 December 1998. Code of Athens is actually public relations first international ethics code, and this codes was created by French public relations named Lucien Matret. As you can see the photo here. So Code of Athens adopted in a hopeful post-war era, which the code quickly became the promotional tool for IPRA. So IPRA stands for International Public Relations Association, and they have their own website on the internet, and I hope you guys can go search it for yourself, read it, because in my opinion it is a very interesting website which contain lots of information about public relation. And this information about Lucien Matret, I also got it from IPRA website. So for Code of Athens, there are 4 parts. First is considering, which considering the person or a PR practitioner must taking something like an issue or matter in his or her view. And the second one is shall endeavor, which a PR practitioner must try hard in achieving something. Third, shall undertake, as in promise to do particular things in their work. And the last one, shall refrain from, means hold back from doing these things or must avoid from doing it.
What an interesting game, Farihah. Now understand that ethics is like a moral behavior, that if it is being practiced, it is good for the individual and also society, as it establishes the nature of duties that people owe to themselves and other people.
Yes, good.
Thank you to playing this game. Maybe we can do this again next time. See ya.
Okay, bye-bye,
Bye,
Amni.
Farihah.